Hello, I'm Trevor Alonso, and this is my review for The Walking Dead Season 9. Okay, so I think it goes without saying that there's going to be spoilers because I'm going to be talking about the entire season. Maybe not every single little bit, maybe not every single spoiler, but, talking about the entire season, there's going to be spoilers, so there's a fair warning right now, in case you haven't seen it. So this season kind of went all over the place. Where do I begin? Let's start with the first episode, or start from the beginning. Alright, so it's sometime after a huge war with Negan and the Saviors. Negan now is a prisoner. They're keeping him locked up in a little cell that they made. Rick and Michonne are trying to get the communities working together. They're building bridges between communities, and they're literally building bridges between communities. Maggie, Daryl, and Jesus are mad that they didn't kill Negan. Maggie especially wants revenge for Glenn. Daryl believes that they need to kill Negan because of how bad he was, and so does Jesus. At the end of the season before, they hinted that there was going to be like a war between communities. Like, it was going to be like Daryl versus Rick. And it feels like the first few episodes kind of got off a little bit slow, or it kind of got off a little bit. There was some good stuff, but then there felt like a slow episode every now and then. And it kind of felt like that way throughout the entire season too. Like, there's some episodes that are great, they're high impact, and then some episodes they're slow, and then some episodes that feel like, okay, that did nothing for the plot of the series other than tell a very small story, which I get you can tell small stories, but it felt like it didn't move things along, or it just stretched some episodes out just because they were like, well, we need to keep making filler episodes. And it felt that way last season too, just a little bit, but I felt like there's some more episodes like that this year where I was like, okay, this is gonna be a slow episode, isn't it? Where if I missed it, I wasn't gonna miss any big storylines. In the Kingdom, they want to bring stuff together. They want to bring communities together. Alexandria has their own thing. In Hilltop, it seems like Maggie's thing is like, alright, I'm against Rick, but we're gonna work together right now until we kill Negan. And it looks like everyone's working together. Even weird hipster trash girl, she's working together. She's apparently dating the priest. And we get hints of a weird mysterious helicopter that no one sees but her. And except for Negan that one time last season. Then we get an episode where they're going to finally kill Negan. Maggie's on her way. Daryl's trying to stop Rick from stopping her. Daryl and Rick get into a huge fight and they end up in a hole. Then they end up helping each other out of the hole. And they have a moment where they realize, okay, yeah, you're still upset because Negan was an asshole and he did a lot of bad things to you. And Rick gets that. But the herd of zombies is on the way to destroy the bridge, and if they go over it, they're gonna go to communities. So they work together to try to stop them and try to redirect the herd. Rick ends up falling off a horse and gets impaled, and it looks like he's about to be zombie food. Then he has an entire episode where he tries to redirect a herd, and he has flashbacks. And they bring back some characters from the past seasons. Some characters that we expected to see. I expected to see his wife, but we didn't get that. I guess they can't get her back for this. They got back Shane. At least that was a key player they brought back. I thought they would bring back Carl. Or Carl! But no, they did not. Though they brought back a smaller kid to play him like in a flashback, but you could tell it was not the same kid. Critically wounded, Rick guides the herd to the bridge. He gets him on the bridge, and he looks like he's being rescued there for a minute, and everything's gonna be okay. But it turns out it's a hallucination from probably dehydration and bleeding out. Again, Rick is back on the bridge. This time he makes the herd go across the bridge, or at least to a certain point. Rick shoots the dynamite and blows the bridge up, literally breaking bridges between communities. It looks like Rick is dead. Everyone's crying. Daryl's crying. And then 4 minutes later we see his body up the creek. Weird hipster trash lady finds him, calls in the helicopter to rescue him and her. They fly away while fans are like, what? Then they have a 6-year time jump. And we see a new group of survivors. They're trying to fight some zombies. Judith ended up saving them. So instead of being the last episode of the season, it turns out to be just one of those middle episodes. And not even like a break episode. It was still a good episode, but still like, what? Rick's still alive? And a few minutes later on Talking Dead, right after that episode, they announced that they're going to be making 2 TV movies with Rick. Which leads the question, Rick has been gone for 6 years. What has he been doing? Why didn't he go back to his kid Judith? Or back to Michonne? Or back to the community? Or is he in a place that he can't get to? Or is he going to be killed off in that time? I understand in real life the actor Andrew Lincoln was missing his family because he has to be away to film the show. But the way they kind of did is weird, so now Rick's going to be missing a lot. So sometime either in the summer or the fall or whenever, we're going to be getting 2 TV solo movies about Rick. Okay, so we get a new group of survivors. And at first they seem kind of helpless, especially for being 6 years or more into an apocalypse full of zombies. But then as the show goes on, you see they're not really that helpless. They're trying to get into Alexandria, but Michonne is now in charge, and she won't have anyone new in. Like, she tries to find ways to stop them from being in. She points out that one of them used to be in prison with a prison tattoo. One is a music teacher. 2 of them are deaf. And in a way, the new group is kind of our way into what's going on after 6 years. We find out Negan's been talking to Judith every now and then. It seems like Judith is fascinated by Negan, but at the same time she's smart and hates him. We find out not only are bridges broken between communities, literally, so now also figuratively. Like, the communities are not together. With the time jump, everyone's a little bit older, which means the kids are older. Judith is a little bit older and now more mature. Henry is more grown-up teenager. Henry gets sent to Hilltop to learn to be a blacksmith, though it seems like there's a lot of things he keeps messing up throughout the entire season. After a few episodes, we start thinking that there's zombies that now can talk, though the people who have read the comic books kind of figured out who's going to be the new bad guys. With the new group, we go from Alexandria to Hilltop. We find out where Hilltop is at the moment, and apparently Maggie's been gone for a while. Maybe because in real life the actress playing Maggie is kind of gone doing her own series. Though the creator and the showrunner have said that Maggie will be back on the show, but we don't know when. And we find out Jesus is in charge of Hilltop. And we cut back every now and then to the kingdom, which is getting ready for a fair. And they want all the communities to come together for the fair. Get ready for fair talk, because they talk about it nearly every episode. At least every episode with the kingdom. And we get more hints of the zombies that can whisper, until finally we get a showdown with the zombies. And you see that it's not just zombies who can whisper, it's actually a group of people who wear their zombie skins. Which begs the question in the zombie apocalypse, how you can wear somebody's skin and not get sick. Again, even if it wasn't the zombie apocalypse, because it looks like this group does not bathe at all, so how are they not getting sick and how are they not getting infected and becoming zombies? Especially around like their eyes, like how is that not infecting them? And this new dangerous group called the Whisperers just walk with zombies and guide the herd wherever they want. And they believe that zombies are the new world and not trying to go back to the old world, and that the other groups are wrong. They end up capturing one named Lydia. He's a teenager about Henry's age. While Henry's in jail, he starts talking to Lydia and starts to fall for her. And at first you're thinking, great Henry, you're gonna really mess this up, because he's telling her everything about the groups. And then we find out that Lydia was actually being abused by her mom, who apparently they call Alpha. And of course the Whisperers come and try to take Lydia back. And apparently they're traveling with the baby. And just because the baby wouldn't stop crying, they leave the baby in a field. But don't worry, the baby gets saved and is being raised in Alexandria. Alpha and the group take Lydia. Daryl sees that she's just going to be abused again and again. Henry goes after her, and Daryl goes to see what's going on, and to help Henry. They're pretty much about to kill Henry. Daryl ends up saving them. We get a few episodes where they're fighting the Whisperers on the way back to the Hilltop. We also meet a new group of survivors who call themselves the Highwaymen. The Highwaymen first start off as bad guys, but then they get persuaded with a movie. That's right, the Kingdom wants to show a movie. In fact, they risk their lives trying to get a projector bulb, and in that episode you think, okay, who's gonna die because this is a task. Usually when getting something important, somebody dies, or like 3 or 4 people die. Earlier in the season, when they went to a museum to get a wagon, people died. And that was very important, and that was needed. Here, it's like a light bulb. I was thinking to myself, okay, there's gonna be a massacre now. Nope, they all survived getting a projector bulb. So the highwaymen are now on our side. And instead of taking stuff, they decided to help us. And we finally get the fair, which they've been talking about half the season. I wonder how much a turkey leg costs in the zombie apocalypse. Alpha sneaks in by wearing somebody's scalp that she killed. Everything seems to be going okay for an episode. Almost. At the same time, the kingdom's still getting ready for the fair. I can't wait for that pumpkin pie eating contest. Also, is there going to be a giant pumpkin like other fairs? And we find out about Beta, who is Alpha's right-hand man. He shows up after the group trying to get Lydia again. Daryl throws him down an elevator shaft, and apparently Beta lives. Daryl, Carol, and a few others get captured by the Whisperers, and they are being threatened. Daryl thinks at first that they killed Lydia, and Alpha keeps alluding that, yeah, somebody was hurt, but she won't say who. She shows Daryl that they have a giant herd that they're barely keeping just to move into the towns just whenever they want to take over, and warns Daryl that they have places blocked off for themselves, and not to cross them, and that you'll recognize the blockings. We come to a horrific ending of that episode, where the areas are blocked off with pikes with the decapitated heads of Ozzy, Alec, DJ, Frankie, Tammy Rose, Rodney, Addie, Ed, Tara, and last but not least, Henry. It was a shocking ending. I didn't think they were going to kill off some of these characters. Especially Henry, once they got Lydia love story kind of going. Then with the last episode, it's sometime later. And without some of these key players, especially like Henry learning to be a blacksmith, some of their pipes are going out, they're losing stuff. The kingdom is losing resources. They have no other choice but to go to Hilltop. And on top of that, it's starting to snow. In fact, it's snowing heavily in the episode. Everyone from the kingdom moves to Hilltop. King Ezekiel has a talk with Daryl, thinking that Daryl is coming between him and Carol. Later on, Carol leaves King Ezekiel. At least that's what's implied. People kind of blame Lydia for what's happened with the Whisperers. And I think this episode killed a lot of fan theories like, why don't they just go up north when the zombies freeze? Well, they'll freeze too. It's not like they have the same resources as before. They have to go through the zones where the Whisperers blocked it off. Not knowing that the Whisperers are waiting for them, they make it across the river just fine, and I kind of thought somebody was going to fall through, but no, nobody fell through, which I was glad. We get a lot of frozen zombies, or half-frozen zombies, or zombies that are so frozen in space that they can't move, but you can tell they're still alive. I am more than sure I saw a half-zombie that was supposed to be a homage to Return to Living Dead table zombie, but I'm not sure. In the last episode, Judith tries to go after Daryl's dog. Negan runs after her. This is out in the cold, when it's so snowy no one can see. Negan ends up saving her, and it looks like he got his leg cut open at the time. Yeah, Negan went from being a complete jerk to trying to kill everybody in the group to now saving Rick's daughter, which is a huge character change. I mean, he's sort of becoming a good guy, but we also still remember him as a bad guy. Also, this past season we get the priest, Rosita, the doctor, in this weird love triangle, and it seems like Eugene is living in the same house with them, in which Eugene has feelings for Rosita, and they know it, but it's even weirder if he's living in the same house. It's like this weird Force Company thing they got going, and Negan even points it out in the last episode and laughs about it. After a while, Lydia feels bad for what's going on. She feels like everything is her fault. She tries to kill herself by letting a zombie bite her, but she can't come to it. Later on, she asks Carol to kill her, and for a minute there, it looks like she's gonna do it. But instead, Carol tells her that she's strong and not weak, and decides not to kill Lydia, which is a big character thing for her. Especially earlier in the episode when she says all that she sees when she looks at Lydia is Henry. And this is a big thing for Lydia too, because then she realizes not everybody hates her in the group. I mean, she already got that from Daryl, but especially when she gets it from Carol, who was Henry's mom. Everyone from the kingdom does make it to Hilltop, and Maggie's still not in the episode. And the rest go back to Alexandria in the morning, and everything's fine. They even have a snowball fight. Part of me wishes somebody would sing Do you want to build a snowman? Everything's better. Then we find out the Whisperers are nowhere near the snow. When you kind of think about it, it's like, how are the Whisperers gonna survive in the snow? I mean, I get you can camp out in the snow, but they seem like the type of crowd that just sleeps out in the open. The way they camp, it seems like they're not really ready for cold weather. So it seems like they put those places in zones, and they kind of left the area just so they wouldn't have to deal with the cold weather and make everyone else feel like they're trapped when they're not. Though at first I thought it was a flashback to like an earlier time, but the way it was shot and done, it couldn't be a flashback, and it really can't be a flash forward, especially when they went back to King Ezekiel talking and it's still snowing. So it wasn't a flashback or a flash forward. It's like, meanwhile, they're somewhere else, you know, living in nice warm weather. And apparently Alpha likes it when Beta hits her with a switch. Apparently BDSM still survives in the zombie apocalypse. And we get a mysterious voice at the end with the radio. Now, I noticed with closed captions, it says a woman's voice. And it seemed like if it was gonna be Maggie, they would have tried harder to make it seem like it was Maggie. I don't think it was Maggie. Maybe it's a weird hipster trash girl. Maybe it's a new group. We don't know. We won't know until the beginning of next season. Or middle of next season. We won't know until next season for sure. I thought at first doing hints at something for Rick's, movies. Not sure when we're gonna get those 2 Walking Dead movies. Yeah, it would have been cool if it was like Rick's voice. But it wasn't. It was clearly a woman. So who knows? Yeah, the last episode wasn't as action-packed as the episode before, but it was still pretty good. The whole season was good overall. It seemed like there were a few episodes that dragged out. It seemed like some episodes that they could have like rushed a few things. They could have done some more story stuff, but overall it was a decent season. I thought it was pretty good. I didn't think it was as strong as some other seasons. Oh, and I definitely gotta talk about this. In the zombie apocalypse, apparently the last movie is Baby Huey. Baby Huey makes it into zombie apocalypse, because that's the movie everybody was watching at the fair. Okay, so what did you think? Did you hate the season? Did you love it? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Do you still want to know who won the pie eating contest at the fair that they didn't show? Let me know in the comment section. I give it a 7 out of 10 blue ribbons at the fair. I feel like this season could have been a little bit better, but the good parts made it really good and actually keep me watching. Thank you for watching my video.